Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Red Elevator. Yes, that's a red elevator behind me. I love to point it out because a lot of people ask, why is your channel called Red Elevator? And that is exactly why. However, I'm Takesh, and we are going to have an extremely fun episode today, and it's going to be about curtains. We are going to demystify the rules about curtains. We're going to figure out exactly what you need to know, what kind of curtains to put up, what kind of pleat. All your questions are going to be answered. Follow me. Since so many of you ask, I will include what I'm wearing today. I am wearing a dress from Rhode. Rhode is spelled R-H-O-D-E, and I got this dress from The Real. My shoes that I've worn before, and you guys have seen, is Bottega Veneta. Before we begin, I'm gonna ask you guys please to click subscribe, as that hugely helps my channel. Now, I also want to thank Nutrafol for sponsoring this video. And one of the reasons I decided to partner with Nutrafol, honestly, is that I have had always sort of thin hair, and I really wanted to boost and grow and make my hair look fuller because I'm always on TV or on camera. And it's important to actually look your best. So part of this journey of trying to look better, which is an everyday thing between exercising and taking dietary supplements, is my hair. And I learned about Nutrafol from Harper's Bazaar, and in fact it won a 2021 Harper's Bazaar award. So I am telling you guys, Nutrafol is wonderful. What's really great about Nutrafol is that it is 100% drug-free, so that means no additives. It was really important to me to find a supplement that was very natural and that could really help really thicken my hair. Nutrafol naturally works at targeting the root causes of thinning hair, such as stress or nutrition or over styling, which I tend to do sometimes. So I am super excited for you guys to join me on this journey. So please make sure and look below and get your beautiful bottle of Nutrafol. The packaging, I know it's not important, but I just love the packaging and I love the product. And I take about 4 capsules a day, and I take it in the morning because I want to do it with a meal. You don't want to do it on an empty stomach, and it just becomes part of my daily routine. So I can't wait for you guys to try it too. I honestly don't know why I haven't done this video earlier, because one of the #1 questions and one of the biggest mistakes I see in interior design is how people treat curtains. And we are going to demystify all of that. You guys are going to get it right, and you're going to do it perfectly. And I am here to help you achieve the perfect look in your home with regard to curtains, Roman shades, sheers. We're gonna demystify it all, and you guys are gonna finally get it. Traditionally, curtains are an absolute afterthought. This is what I have found with not only my clients, but with my friends. Nobody thinks about what they're gonna do with their curtains until they think about the totality of their project or when their project is done. One of the first things that I do with my clients is that we address the curtains during construction. And the reason that we do that is because we want to make sure it's done right. Now, just because you didn't address it before doesn't mean there isn't a fix now. And we are going to talk about what it is that you need to do and what are the best ways to create a beautiful environment where the curtains and the Roman shades or the roller shades or whatever you decide to use really work in your home. The very first thing you need to take into consideration when looking at what type of curtains to do is your architecture. That is hugely important. If you have a traditional home, your curtains are going to be very different than if you have a modern home. So let's talk a moment about traditional or transitional style. You have the possibility of using curtain rods. As you can see in these photos, these curtains are on beautiful rods and rings, and rods and rings can be very beautiful and can be used throughout your home. They do have a cost associated with them, but I like them, and I like them to be a little simple. I don't like to have large finials. I like them to look very clean. In a modern home, I prefer not to see clutter, and by clutter I mean rods and rings. Rods and rings are very distracting in a minimal home. In that case, you must, absolutely must, under any circumstance, use what I'm showing you guys here, which are the recessed tracks. Recessed tracks, as you can see, are very easy to install into drywall, and this is when we attack this project during construction. So if you don't have a house that's under construction, you can certainly add these after the fact. And I think it's well worth the expense because the curtains feel like they're just falling out of the sky, as if there was a blade in the sky that brings curtains down. So it looks wonderful. When putting your curtains in a modern home or even in a transitional home, I would suggest doing them in a ripple fold. Here, as you can see in this frame, a ripple fold is a very light wave. It is not too fussy, it is not too ornate, and it doesn't have many pleats, and so it looks really wonderful in a very clean and modern environment. The next question that I get with regard to curtains that we must address here is the length of the curtain. Now, I want to be very, very clear about this, and I hope I'm not offending anyone, but again, these are my opinions that I'm sharing with you. But under no circumstance, people, under any act of crisis must one ever, and I mean ever, have an apron length curtain. That's a no. An apron length curtain is a curtain that ends just below the window and looks like it's a mini skirt. No, 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 that cannot happen. So if you have that, remove it, burn it, get rid of it. Now, curtains must kiss the floor. That is the cardinal rule of curtains. They must kiss the floor lightly, not be shorter, not a quarter inch shorter, not a half an inch shorter. They must kiss your floor. So you have to know exactly what length they are before manufacturing them. So there's a little bit of trick into making sure they're done right. So we happen to pause this segment because my videographer just informed me that he has his curtains are about 5 inches off the floor. So I had a mini heart attack. I was resuscitated and now I'm back. And he had a good reason for it. So we'll maybe let it slide. And that's because he has a cat and the cat does something to the drapes. And so he had to do it. But I am going to implore him to train the cat and bring the curtains to the floor. Now, one other thing that you can do that I love doing is puddling, but that has to be done mindfully. I do like a puddle. Not in every circumstance, not in every home. A home that is more ornate, or a home that there's certain reasons and there's certain moments where a puddling can work. Like in this photo, you will see that we have curtains on the right and on the left side of a bookcase, and it's purposely puddled. Now, this is a very artsy thing to do, so in this case, a puddling is very chic. Now that we've addressed the length of the curtain, we're going to address the height of the curtain. When you have varying windows, one trick to sort of trick the eye into thinking that all windows are the same height, really, is to put shades over them at the same level. So before we get into the shades, we are going to go back to curtains, and I'm going to share with you what not to do. In this photo, you will see these two windows are identical in size. However, in one of them, the curtains are placed directly above the window, and in the other photo, as you can see, which looks much better, they are placed a lot closer to the crown or to the ceiling, and that looks a lot better. This elongates your room. I understand that some of you are buying curtains off of websites that are pre-made, and in that case, I recommend buying them in the longer length, so that you can elevate your ceilings and you can have a longer curtain. Longer curtains are always, always hands down better. The next question I get that I want to demystify and I want to answer are, what kind of pleats should I put on the top of my curtains? Here you see the different pleats. You've got goblet, you've got the French pleat, you've got the pinch pleat, you have a double pinch, a triple pinch. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And I'm here to tell you, do not worry about these things. The best one to pick, in my opinion, is an inverse pleat. I think if you have a traditional home, an inverse pleat is always very clean and very, very beautiful. And that is usually my go-to, is an inverse pleat. So if you're out of ideas, go for that. If your home is very, very French and you want to do something that's a little bit more ornate, then I would go with the French pleat. A wonderful trick that I want to share with you guys that we do in a lot of my clients' homes who have older homes, historic homes, or homes that you can't touch because perhaps you're renting or you've got pipes in the walls, is if you want your curtains to go all the way to the top and you don't want to have hardware, why not insert crown moldings? Your crown moldings will be installed, like you see in this photo, a little bit away from the wall in the window, and therefore you have an automatic sort of crown cornice. So the hardware isn't seen. You could buy inexpensive hardware, and it's a really easy way to make your look extremely expensive and elevated. I like to do curtains when I have a very tall window, sort of a floor to floor-to-ceiling window, a French door, that would require curtains. But you can also have 0 curtains. There is no rule that every window has to have a curtain. So that is something that I wanted to mention to you. If your window faces the backyard and you have privacy and you don't need privacy, meaning that you can't see people walking by, then why not leave it uncurtained, if that was a word. But that's the idea. You don't have to have a curtain in every window. And the next best thing after curtains are Roman shades. If you've got smaller windows, rectangular windows, windows of different sizes, then Roman shades are a great go-to. They're less expensive because you're using less fabric. And the biggest question and the biggest important thing here to really keep in mind is to keep the Roman curtains simple. More is not more when it comes to curtains. The billowing, the tassels, the extra folds, all of that is really cumbersome. And unless it's done very purposefully for an artistic reason, I would say eliminate them all. Go with simplicity. Curtain fabrics need to be basically more important in their texture than in their design. Lastly, what I did want to emphasize about Roman shades are the question that I get all the time is, do I mount the Roman shades inside the window or on the outside of the window? And there is a very simple rule to that. And that is that if you have old windows and the surround of the windows or the casing of the windows is old, then, and you don't want them to be seen and the windows are cracking and the paint's falling off, then I would mount them outside. If you've got a clean, brand new, fresh window, then I would, and if you have sort of a recessed edge, then I would mount them inside. Again, simple and easy to follow. Thank you for joining me on this curtain episode of what to do and what not to do and demystifying curtains for you guys. I love talking about curtains. I could talk about it all day. I had to stop myself and I almost ran out of steam and breath because I talked about curtains so much. But as you guys can see, I'm very passionate. I want you guys to learn from my experiences and be able to actually apply them to your own life. I'd like to thank Nutrafol for sponsoring this video. Make sure and click in the description box so that you too can follow me on this great hair journey. I can't wait to show you guys the progress week after week. So thanks for joining me today here on the Red Elevator, and I will see you guys again next week.